Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. High through the rain, through the fire. This is my club, my only desire. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. I'm Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. High through the rain, through the fire. This is my club, my only desire.
Yes, guys, and welcome to THFC Till I Die, the home of Tottenham. Let me start that again. Welcome to THFC Till I Die, the home of Tottenham, past, present, and an exciting future under Thomas Frank. And yes, the era has ended. Daniel Levy has left the building. He has gone. Finito. No more Levy magic on deadline day. We might have a proper football club at last, actually, to run. But we must not forget the good he has done. Before we get started, any opinions on the future of Tottenham Hotspur, any opinions that we may have are our own, not to the channel. There is a lot of rumours and counter-rumours out there. We do have our sources. We do have an inkling what is happening, but we will treat everything as a rumour until we know 100% factually what is going on. But guys, when it does happen, you will hear it here first and fastest on your #1 Tottenham channel for breaking news. Welcome me tonight. You've heard of the top, you've heard of the Big Six, you've heard of the Spurs 5. Well, this is the Fab Four. This is an absolute brilliant combination of Tottenham individuals, all they with the biggest brains in the business. And joining us tonight, of course, is the man leaves no introduction, the myth, the legend. The man that has his fingers in many pies, knows what is happening before even Daniel Levy knew it before it happened. It is our one and only, as I call them, the Alex Crook of the channel. It is Big James. James, to be fair, you broke this a long time ago that something was happening. And to be fair, this channel, again, it's been spot on the money.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Yeah, well, vindicated, that's all I'm going to say.
Down below you, of course, is a man with no introduction the world over. He speaks his mind. He's been Levy's biggest enemy since day one. He's now got his club back. He is the one and only Tequila. Tequila, how are you this evening, sir?
It's party time in my house, bruv. How are we doing?
Yeah. Did you like the Fab Four bit about us being the new, Fab Four?
I thought you were going in another direction, especially when you said four were the biggest. I thought you were going to say something else, which is also true. But so I've heard. You know, we don't show them off to each other.
This show has suddenly gone in a whole different direction.
I didn't say anything. It's still good. Not it's nearly 9. Not quite. No, I'm good. Good.
Yeah, that's good, man. And of course, joining us is Luke. He was on before. Forgive me, Luke. What's the name of your channel again? I did remember, and I did have it somewhere where I meant to.
That's all right. Spotlight on Spurs.
Spotlight and Spurs. I was watching you during the week. You've done some really good shows during the week, actually. Really enjoyed them. Sat there with Mrs. Tron. Mrs. Tron said, he's very good. Can you not be like him? That's from, she's the boss, and she's telling me, can you be like you? So maybe, lads, I might be sacked. It might be a new head honcho on the channel. Maybe I'd be like Daniel Levy being marched out of the THFC Till We Die building, by security guards. Who knows? But there you go. You got a fan in Mrs. Tron. But there you go. Honestly, I do love watching your stuff. It is good stuff as well. Would recommend everyone going over there. Before we get started, I just want people's quick reaction to the news yesterday. We've got 24 hours since it happened. I'll start with you, James. Look, 24 hours gone. Can you believe it? Do you believe it? Do you know?
I when the news broke and I first heard about it, I had a song playing in my head, and it kind of went na 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 hey, hey goodbye, and that was literally what was going off through my head. It's look, I'm not going to tear the man down. He has done some good things for the football club. What I don't agree with is what I don't agree with, but we'll get into that a little bit later. He has done good. He has done good, but probably was the longest serving chairman in the Premier League. So yeah. See you later, Daniel. Don't let the door hit you in the arse on the way out. Try not to cry into your cornflakes too much. Gone and very will be quickly forgotten.
Tequila, he's still got shares. He's still on the board, but he's got no direct involvement within the football club. Do you think this has come from Vivian Lewis? Do you think this has come from this side of the Lewis family?
I think we'll find out in the coming months. We talked about this last night when we kind of said that they kind of took a little bit of a dig at him already. I wonder if that hole will get even bigger as the months and even the years pass. Unlike James, I don't have that song on. The song I was thinking of is, you know, the Game of Thrones when the Queen gets sent and she gets stripped naked and they send her down.
Oh yeah,
and they go shame, and the bells are ringing. Shame. That's how I think it went down.
Yeah. Anyone that hasn't watched Game of Thrones, sorry for the spoiler there.
That's like season 6 or 7. It's one of the latest seasons.
Grand, near the end. Yeah. Do you know what, Tequila? Very quickly, that actually what came into my head was "Bye Bye Baby Goodbye." I don't know why it came into my head. Luke, what was your first reaction when the news broke that Levy had left the building?
Absolutely shocked, to be honest with you. I didn't think it would be so soon. I thought there'd be murmurs about it a hell of a lot more. I could see now, looking at it, I could see that the end was coming with Donna Cullen trying to go into retirement last year and him asking her to stay on for a further year. I think that was because he was potentially losing the power that he had, and he said, "You're the closest ally. Can you stay with me one more year?" I am a little bit disappointed because I'm a little bit fearful of what may come. I understand why people criticize him, and rightly so, on virtually everything that they do criticize him. But I still think that there are certain things that we knew were never going to be a problem at our club. And if we get into the wrong hands, they could become big problems. So I think it would be interesting to see how we react. I don't like what we're hearing now, because for me, I think Levy's been levied. The way that they're kind of coming out now, it's almost like he was the bad egg in front of it, like in front of the world. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. You as his boss, if he was doing so bad, maybe you should have got involved 12, 10, 15, 20, however many years ago. So, but as the guy said, I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more.
Yeah, we will. I think you make a good point. What I've got here is a little bit of a snapshot, guys, of it. Sorry, I am rude. Before we do that, we get into the members. Tequila or James, do you want to read out the comments for me? I bring them up.
First of all,
if I bring them up, you read them. So I hit
got a super chat from Wayne Bonner here.
Yeah. So first of all, big Wayne Bonner, big up Wayne. He says, "Good evening, folks. Hope you're all well. Just a few points. I hope everyone understands the good Levy did for the club and the foundations put in place for our future." So 100%, Wayne, 100% do agree that he has done good for the club. I'm not going to tear the man down completely. We are in a stronger position than what we were when Daniel Levy first and Enoch first took over, of course. Can't fault him in how he's run Tottenham as a commercial business and how much stability he brought to the club. But stability only gets you so far. That's my opinion. Stability only gets you so far. There's got to come a point where you have to take that first tentative step into the unknown. And I think what he did was stay very much within his comfort zone and didn't want to rock the boat.
Yeah. Big up to Wayne Bonner for the super chat as well. €2, big up to you. Thank you so much. Question: was Levy pushed or shoved? James, was he pushed or shoved?
I think he walked before he was pushed. I think that's my understanding and my opinion on it. He got to a point where he knew it was going to come. It was inevitable that it was going to come. So rather than have the humiliation of being forced to step down, he stepped down himself. And if you want to know where I get that from, you look at the comments he made after Ange was sacked. You look at the interview with Gary Neville.
Yeah.
Those sort of comments that he made in that interview didn't scream a man that knew he was losing his job. It screamed a man who was ready to just sort of carry on doing what he was doing. But I think then realization came in that certainly as the transfer window wound on, that it wasn't good enough, and it was probably gonna end up being shoved out the door.
Yeah.
So I think he graciously resigned before he was ceremoniously thrown out on his ear.
Yeah. Luke, pushed or shoved, or do you agree with James?
No, this is absolutely why I love football, because I completely see everything that you've just said, and it's all logical and makes perfect sense. And I just see it a completely different way. I think that he was being pushed out, and I think that going on the same interviews, Levy didn't ever communicate with the fans, and I think they were his last parting shot to the fans, as if to say, just remember what I've done. Remember this stadium, like even to come out and say that, like this is a lasting legacy. Mm-hmm. People will remember me more when I'm gone. For me, it was the signs of a man that knew he was on his way out. And I'm the only thing that I'm not sure about in terms of him stepping down and then pushing him is that he was on a salary of like $3 million a year, and if you walk, you don't get that. So maybe there's some sort of conversation there where let's be completely frank, he was here for nearly 25 years. I don't think it was ever going to get to a situation where we come out and say in a statement he's been sacked, even if we've sacked him. So I think that there's just been a bit of a mutual thing there where he's, as I say, that the Donna Cullen stuff, the fact that she stayed on for one more year, and then he's gone a couple of months after she's left. For me, is almost like I'm losing my power. Stay with me. You're my closest ally here. And then next year when you go, maybe it's time for me to go as well. But who knows? As I say, what you're saying there makes perfect sense as well. So, but that's just the way that I read it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Tequila, before I give my opinion on it, what do you reckon? Was he pushed, shoved, kicked?
I'd say the first thing is I don't really care if he was pushed or shoved. I hope that he enjoyed the fall. I did ask several times in the past. I've asked him to fall on his sword. I've asked him to fire himself, however you want to phrase it. And even though I don't think he voluntarily did it, someone suggested to him that he do it. But I said to you, I think the overlap. I think the Levy has been radio silent throughout his whole tenure. You're right. And then all of a sudden, he does 2 interviews within 6 weeks of each other?
Yeah.
That should have been the flag that not many of us really saw, because that was very, very unlike Daniel Levy to do 2 public interviews. Granted, one of them was controlled by Tottenham. It went out on the Tottenham channel, so that was very controlled. The fact he even agreed to do Neville's show, very, very un-Levy-like, as we know the man. So that might have been, if you want to, hindsight's 2020, right? But looking back, definitely, maybe we should have been like, that's really odd that he would agree to do that. And don't tell me that he didn't scan those questions and go over Neville exactly what he was going to be asked. Of course he did.
Mm.
So
It was all pre-planned, of course.
So I agree with Luke on. That's what I said yesterday, Luke. I agree with you. I think that was set up. I think that was a way, especially the part, as Luke said, where Neville asked him, "How do you think you'd be remembered?" Doesn't that one question really stick in your mind now?
It does. I rewatched it today. I rewatched both, actually, the Gary Neville overlap and the one he did with Vinny. And I still reckon the one with Vinny, right? It's like a loving. It's like the end of. Do you know when they go on first dates and they say, "Will you see each other?" I just reminds me of that so much. I agree with you guys. I think I more agree with James actually and hit what he had to say personally. I think he said everything I would have said. I think Daniel Levy had painted himself into a corner. If you look at our transfer window, somebody said it last night. I don't know where, but it made sense that every time there was an up, it wasn't Levy. Anytime there was a down, it was felt Levy was in charge. You look at the times he was in for the Eze deal. They had a whole week to get that done. And Levy was in charge of that. So, I think it's a bit of both. I think he fell on his sword, but he was made to fall on his sword, if you know what I mean. But big up Wayne Bonner. Thank you so much for the super chat. Guys, do you want to say anything to Wayne for the super chat?
Yeah, thank you very much, Wayne. Big up, my man. Always appreciated. Always love your input on the shows.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say also, it's like that. This is the good example, guys, to get your super chats in, and then you can steer where the conversation goes, because that was all brought upon by Wayne's question. So get them in.
I know. And also pick up your memberships as well. We're trying to bring up everyone's memberships. We can't bring everyone's comment. We can't do it all of them. So we are prioritizing the members a bit. I know it's a bit unfair. We will read out your comments, but we're bringing up because they're members and they do pay the money. So grab your memberships. 99p doesn't even get you a loaf of bread. So, or it might do get you a loaf of bread. I don't know.
Get you a loaf of bread. Might not get you a can of Coke, but it'll get you a loaf of bread.
It'll get you your Tesco brand or the shops brand. The low budget bread, it might get you.
I tell you, 99 cent over here doesn't get you a loaf of bread. 99 cent doesn't get you anything over here. But mind you, we live in an expensive country. Anyway, Wayne Bonner, Fab Four, Metallica, Slayer, Orbit. Right, which one are we, guys? Go on. There's 4 options there. Which one do you think? I reckon we're a bit like the Beatles. I reckon we are.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Just far better looking.
Yeah, I'll take the Ringo Starr job. I'm being the drummer. Tequila, who do you want to be?
I'll take any of them, to be fair. I'll take their money anyway, if that's the proposal.
Yeah. I'll be McCartney, I think.
Yeah. It's a bit of John Lennon about you, James. You know, a bit of a rebel.
I'm going to say, if anything, I'd be John Lennon, dead inside, just dead.
Watch out for those foreign babes, mate. Don't get involved.
Yeah. And we've got the quiet Beatle there, George Harrison, down in the corner, just singing while his guitar gently weeps. Sorry, that's so bad. That was such a bad joke. I'm so sorry. Big up. Go on, Wayne. Go on, James. Keep reading these out. Go on as I bring them up. So.
Wayne Bonner saying he broke wind a long time ago. That was, I'm guessing, in reply to my comment or our comments of breaking the news regarding. And Wayne was also saying, he says, so James is upset that Levy's gone, Ben. It's like a hole has been ripped into my chest and filled with joy, Wayne.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Big up to you all sending in. Big up to also Rayman's joining us. Big up to you, Rayman, David Clark as well. Big up to David Clark, a man who's seen it all, a man that's seen many years at Tottenham, many owners. So I think, if I'm right, David, this was your 4th owner. If I'm right, there's been 4 owners at Tottenham. This will be the next owner will be my 5th owner as a Spurs fan. Big up to Beyond 72 as well, Wayne Bonner. You're an absolute diamond. Big up to Henry Coys. Big up the panel. Big up to you, Henry. And
we just got Razzle Dazzle waiting for the Simon Jordan and Levy interview to drop very soon. Yeah, if there was an interview, if there is
funny that's been so delayed. isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they might do a new one now?
They might have to.
He might come on to. He does one on Talk Sport. I wonder will he get him onto that?
You can't say anything though. It's all non-disclosure, doesn't it? At the moment, it's
Yeah.
probably a couple of years before anything can actually be said. So
I'm sure Levy's going to write a book, Luke. That book could be coming out in a couple of years.
someone's put that in a few group chats. It'd be really interesting to read. But he's not really a publicity guy, is he? So I don't.
Yeah,
know
he'll get a ghostwriter when he's there. He'll just get a ghostwriter.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Right. Look, I know I have problems with my reading, so I've passed this all over to James if you can. If he doesn't mind, I do apologize. But this is a little few PDFs I got off on stats of Daniel Levy at Tottenham over 25 years. So, James, I do apologize. I'm asking you to do this, sir. So if you don't mind, I'd be really grateful.
You know me, happy to be of service. So, number one, club ownership and financial growth. So, any acquisition through any group co-founded with Joe Lewis, Levy facilitated the purchase of a 27% stake in Spurs from Alan Sugar for 22 million. In December of 2000, increasing to 29.9%. It later acquired 85.55% of the club by 2007 for an additional £25 million, moving Spurs to private ownership in 2012. Then he goes on with infrastructure and achievements. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Levy oversaw the £1.2 billion stadium, opened April 3rd, 2019, with a 62,062 seat capacity. The largest club stadium in London. It features the world's first dividing retractable pitch and hosts NFL games, concerts. We all know about Beyonce and everybody else who's played there. And UEFA Euro 2028 matches will be played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well. Also, there's the F1 Gold Cart. There's the hotel that's been broken ground on. There's the new Spurs Dare to Skywalk, but you can walk around the stadium. So he has improved the infrastructure overall. I know they're not in their demo. I just added them bits in because
No, that's fine. Look, I want to start on the bottom bit, the stadium, right? I've been a Tottenham fan for 45 years. Loved White Hart Lane. Never wanted to see it go. Was devastated when it went. If you look at Daniel Levy off the pitch, I'll start my way and work my way up. So I'll start with you, Tequila, then Luke, and then you, James. And then when I go to the next question, I'll do it in reverse order. Tequila, look, you look at the stadium, you look at the debt that's with Tottenham at the moment. But at the time when he took that debt out, he only took the debt out at 2% before the interest rates rose really high and building costs went through the roof. Do you think Daniel Levy was more lucky than good when it come to making some of these off-field financial decisions for Tottenham Hotspur?
I think on that one, you have to say that he got lucky with the timing. You need to remember is that how big an obstacle it was getting that stadium built. Do you remember that all those years where we had to buy all the land up and there was one or two holdout certain shops and stuff like that didn't want to sell. Yeah. And then we had to go for all the planning permission, and this rattled on for year after year. So if that stuff would have gone smoothly, then Levy would have probably given the green light to build the stadium much earlier and then wouldn't have got it. So on that one, yeah, I don't think there was skill involved. He kind of got lucky. Had it taken him a couple more years and then he had to have started building it, especially near the pandemic time, we'd be in such a mess right now because those interest rates went up so much. In fact, I mean, he might not have been able to have pressed the button to build it in the first place had he waited a couple more years because of the financial costs. So I think that one is timing. That isn't skill. Being honest, I think he got lucky on that one at least.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke, look, you look at, like James said, you look at the go-kart track, Skywalk, all the other financials that Tottenham are bringing in at the moment. Other clubs are starting to do it now. So, again, are you looking at that Daniel Levy was slightly ahead of his time on some of these things off the field? I'm not talking about football side. I'm more talking about the business side. Are other clubs now starting to sort of click on to what Levy was up to back in the day?
100%. I mean, off the field, if you take away the football success, I don't think there's any owners that have achieved what Levy has. because people forget. I've been supporting Spurs. Effectively, Levy's the only owner that I remember, because when I was young enough to support Spurs, I didn't know about owners, etc. So Levy's effectively the only one that I've known. There's no chairman probably in the world of football that's got a club from one level to another so much in 25 years. It's just not. It's not without an absolute abundance of money. And to be able to do that, I mean, the whole thing about other stuff being held at White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I understand why people don't like it. But for me, there's 365 days in a year. We might play 25 days in that stadium. So the other 340, it is a wasted £1 billion asset. It doesn't make any sense not to utilise it and get other money in. Where the problem comes is that all of the money that's generated needs to be put back in the football club, because we're giving up our home for growth in terms of money. And if we're not receiving it, then I completely get that. And I think that's where fans are fair. But for me, what he's done off the field in terms of all of this sort of stuff, teams need to generate as much money as possible. And he's doing that. And you can tell he's ahead of the curve, because Newcastle, they're the richest club in the world, but they can't spend any money because they haven't done any infrastructure work. Whereas if someone comes to buy us now, everything is set literally for someone to come in, put 400 million down, buy new players, and then all of a sudden you take that leap from being a top four club to a title winning. We've got all of that foundation already set out. So I understand why I don't think people are really that concerned by it. I think it's a gripe by them, but only because they don't see where the finances is going into the club. If we was going out spending 250 million every summer, I don't think anyone would talk about Beyonce being there. I don't think anyone would talk about the property, because we know that the money being generated is going into the club. Whereas I think now is it going back into the club? I think is the big problem.
It is going to be the big question. I mean, James, look, you and me, I think, support Tottenham nearly the same time, haven't we? We remember the sugar years where Tequila and Luke more have only known Levy. So we have experience of Alan Sugar and what it was like in the mid-90s. And I don't know, do you remember the Scholar years well? Or
I don't remember them too well, but it was sort of, I was an avid supporter, mid to late 80s. Probably like Luke is with the Alan Sugar years, didn't understand what the owners did. But I do remember what the football club were about and things like that.
So if you look, when Levy came in and bought the club, and he did say, am I right in this, Tequila? I think you said it to me the other day that it was about money for them, wasn't it? Was that what he said, or?
I think, well, the initial statements, I mean, I don't think they really pulled the wool over people's eyes, because they didn't come in really saying that they were going to win the league and stuff like that. Like I say, one of my earliest memories was after the Sol Campbell thing, and they more or less said to Sol in a little parting shot, which was a little bit silly when I think about it, but I digged it at the time, and they were like, "See you in the Champions League, Sol," and that was their firing shot. I remember it. That was their statement, and they did that. So, but they never, because of what Levy said in the summer, we'll never know if he regrets saying that now. But because of the whole, we want to win a Premier League, I think people are spinning it a little bit to say that he promised. That was no promise. Go back and listen to it. He never says we're gonna win. He says we want to. And if he didn't say that he didn't want to, then we would all be saying, why didn't he say he wanted to win the Premier League? And this is somebody who I just strongly dislike Levy, but even I know that was one of those kind of no-win situations. He had to say he wanted to, but he certainly never promised it, Dermo. He never promised it.
Look, I get what you're saying, but James, look, I'll get back to you. Sorry. Look, I remember 91 when we nearly went extinct. I was a teenager, remember it very well. Remember going to bed, am I going to have a club to support in the morning? Which is an awful feeling. You don't want to feel like that as a football fan. And you think about it then, James, 8 million, or was it 8? I think it was between 8 to 20 million in debt. Not a lot of money in today, but a lot of money back in them days.
Well, it roughly equates to roughly around about 150 million in debt. That's what it equated to in today's money.
So, Alan Sugar came in with Terry Venables. Whatever you think of Venables and Alan Sugar, they saved the football club. Do you think Daniel Levy took him, and Simon Jordan said that him and Sugar of the same ilk, that it's all about the club making its own money, the club surviving on its own merits? Do you think they both had the same ilk of where they were going to go with the club?
No, because I don't think Alan Sugar was anything regarding the football club. Yes, he came in to save it, but did he care? No. He saw it as I believe that Alan Sugar saw it as a quick buck, so to speak. It was easy money. Buy this club, settle it, keep hold of it as an asset for 2 or 3 years, minimal investment into that football club, and it will still generate me money. It will still make me money, and then there is pretty much guaranteed I'll be able to sell it on for a profit.
Yeah.
Because with regards to assets, football clubs are one of those strange things that they very rarely depreciate in value. Yes, they do go down, values go up and down, but as an astronomical depreciation, unless you are talking something like a Premier League team crashing all the way down through the footballing pyramids, they're going to hold and inherit value. Even Leeds United, as an example, went from the Premier League down to League Championship, down to League One, flirted with League Two for a little while, and then have slowly built themselves back up. Now, when they went down to League One, their value did depreciate, but their assets would have remained the same. Their ground would have been worth exactly the same amount. It was just that the money coming in wasn't as much as what the money going out would have been. With regards to when Daniel Levy and ENIC came in, so I just want. I mean, I know I said I put it in our group chat that we have with regards to percentages and what it actually means to think it. And I got the actual percentage of what Levy had. I said 22. It's actually 29.3%. I think is the exact amount. But what we've got to remember is that is not in Tottenham. That is just in ENIC. And a lot of people said it was, he owns 30% of Spurs. No, he owns 30% of ENIC. The TICTOC group, which Daniel Levy is part of, owns 30% of the ENIC group. That is how ENIC is made up of small, different investors, all investing into that group, which creates the ENIC group as a whole. So, like I put in our group chat, if ENIC sell Tottenham, I'm not saying they are, I'm saying if they sold Tottenham and they went out and bought another football club, for argument's sake, they went out and bought Leeds United, and Leeds United, and then ENIC then put Daniel Levy back into as a CEO of Leeds United, it would appear on paper that Daniel Levy owns 30% of Leeds United, but he doesn't. He owns 30% of the shares in ENIC, what ENIC own of
the
Leeds United.
Group, then,
yes,
am I right? So the Trafford Stock Group is the big umbrella, but everything coming off that umbrella.
ENIC is the big umbrella, and underneath that umbrella there is the Tavistock Group. So part of the Tavistock Group owns 30% of ENIC. So if ENIC's up here, for the smaller investments that create the umbrella of ENIC, Tavistock Group, which is owned by Daniel Levy and his son, owns 30%. And ENIC is owned primarily by the Joe Lewis Family Trust, which I believe makes up another 70%. Or 69%, and then there's other little smaller companies make up. I don't know the full breakdown of the ENIC group. I'm not even going to try and go into that. It's just mind-boggling financial black hole that you'd fall into. And unless you're interested in finances, and if you are, feel free to message me and I will go down that black hole with you and try and explain it best I can.
We might do a show in that, James, actually. We may put you
Oh,
up to
God,
your
no.
sword on that.
No, please don't.
We've got the financial, so
it's a black hole of epic proportion.
Yeah.
Don't put me in it. But yeah, so it's one of those. It is a interesting breakdown, but that is, I never knew it up until probably about 3 or 4 years ago, because I was always of the belief that Daniel Levy owned 30% of Tottenham. We'll round it up. I always believed he owned 30% of Tottenham, but he does not. He does not. He just owns 30% of ENIC, which owns Tottenham.
Yeah. I want to say big up to Wayne Bonner, who's gifted one. And do you know who's got it? Do you know who's got it?
It shouldn't be. Give it to someone else. Give it to someone else. It's so silly.
I am so pleased this man has got one. Tequila has got.
I don't need one, bruv. Give it to someone else who needs one.
We can't now. You've been gifted it for the year, so for the month, so take it. So you're now a member. So I can bring your comments up now because you're a member. So that gets me out of that hole. Look, big up to you, Wayne, as well. Tequila, do you want to say anything to Wayne?
Cheers, brother. Give it someone else. So silly. Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah, yeah. See, he's so emotional. He's so emotional. Levy's gone. He gets a membership today. Do you know what? So go right.
It's like it's. You're gonna say, have you bought a lottery ticket yet?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Have you done the numbers?
No, but I should get one now, shouldn't I, mate?
Yeah.
Right, mate. I'll win it and I'll buy Spurs. Don't worry, I'll save us all.
Yeah. Rayman says, does that mean Tequila has to attend the member phone-in shows? Yes, they are coming, and as a member, he gets to come on. I don't know how that's going to work.
I'm not sure how that's going to work, bro.
Look, We Are Spurs TV asked the very question. We will get into the financial growth, and I think you explained it anyway, James, about it all here, about the financial growth. So it's nothing, but he asked the question, and he's been in the chat. I don't really agree with everything you're saying with your Spurs TV, but I saw this comment and I thought I would ask a question. And it's a yes or no question, really, guys. He says he would rather financial instability and trophies and signing top players. James, yes or no? Well, I'll answer it this way. Financial stability or financial instability?
Financial stability. It's the only way forward. But there's a way, but just so I want to be clear on that, because you can go financial instability and be completely and utterly reckless.
Yeah.
With financial instability, very much like what Newcastle, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Manchester United have all done. They've been reckless with the money they've got. There's having financial stability, but being sensibly reckless with your money. So speculating to accumulate. I've said it before. Speculate to accumulate.
Yeah.
That is what football's about. So yes, spend 200 million in the transfer window on 2, 1, 2/3 players, and that gives you the ability that you've spent money. You've improved the team, and it gives the ability the team is going to improve to also generate more income from prize money, etc., etc. And then when you get on that positive ball, which is not always going to keep going, because you're going to have the blip season, but you just keep going and you keep throwing that same dice down that same alley. Okay, so this year we've made 200 million. We spent 200 million and we made 180 million. So next year we'll spend 250 million and see if we can get close to breaking even. And you keep going. So to me, financial stability is different to financial trophies and financial instability. You can be financially stable and win trophies.
Yeah.
Liverpool have shown that.
Yeah, they have. And Man United used to show it back in the day, to be fair, when they were successful.
Yes, they did.
Luke, are you the same as James? Would you agree with him on that point?
Yeah, I mean, the point's so lopsided in terms of you can't say I'd rather have financial instability and win trophies. Just by having financial instability doesn't bring you trophies. That's not how it works. So I understand why everyone screams so much about we need to spend more money. But if we went and signed 11 Dele Allis for 5 million and won the league, I'm not going to be sitting there going, we need to spend more money. I don't care how they spend money. I care about how the team gets better. So we've just gone and signed Vuskovic, for instance, for £10 million. I don't want them to go and sign a £70 million centre back if Vuskovic is going to be better. So there needs to be some sort of idea there. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I can't remember who said it earlier, but we just need to be, it's almost like he always got to that edge where it was like, oh, this is a little bit out of my comfort zone now. And he never just took that leap.
Yeah.
And so that leap doesn't mean money. Like, go and look at Manchester United, who have just spent 250 million on a new front line, and I don't think they scored. I think they scored 2 goals between them in 5 games or something like that. So it isn't just about going to spend money; it's about recruiting well. And the problem is we haven't recruited well. If you actually look at the numbers that we spent, if you go through our top 10 signings that have ever been spent, there's a lot of them. Probably about, I think there's 7 of them where you go, well, that they've been unsuccessful. So actually, Spurs spending money doesn't really work. To be honest with you, we're actually poor at doing it. So I understand that the idea around it, but if you could choose financial instability but constantly winning trophies, every club would select that because it's winning trophies. But that's not how it works. It doesn't guarantee that in any way, shape,
No, it
or
doesn't.
form. So I think that my opening line on Levy was that if we get someone in who's reckless, you as a Premier League club, you have so much outgoings throughout the year. You could very much become a club that's extinct within a few years because you mismanage your money. And you know for a fact that is never, ever going to be the case under this map. Or was going to be the case under this map.
Yeah. I mean, Tequila, you've been asking for, I mean, you were very critical of Levy. I think we all were in our own way. You've got We Are Spurs TV saying about instability and winning trophies or being stability. You got Rayman saying, for me, on the pitch, stability comes from spending the same money on less players. Has he got a point that you could buy good players, but you don't, if you buy 2 or 3 players, really quality players every window, you would then get that success from it?
See, I don't think it's quite as clear cut as saying what We Are Spurs TV has said. I mean, I debate that you can't have both because I think Liverpool has shown that you can. I think Arsenal, we might not want to admit it. And you can say, well, they haven't won anything. Maybe not, but they are challenging every year for the title. They have been. They were only a couple of points off not last year, the year before last anyway. So they haven't won trophies, but let's not say you wouldn't want to be in their position because we all would. So they've done it as well within their. This is, they spent 120. They've spent over 100 million on players. Arsenal have, and I wouldn't say that they are a juggernaut financially. They haven't had the outside financing like a City, like a Chelsea, like a Blackburn did. They have generally done it the right way, as much as we might not want to kind of admit it. They kind of have. And Liverpool certainly have. I mean, Liverpool's an even better example of living within their means. And as you know, Dermo, the reason they were able to spend nearly 400 million because they spent 2 transfer windows worth of money in one window because they didn't buy anyone last year.
No, they didn't.
So that's the reason they were able to do it. But normally, Liverpool probably do spend, on average, about 200 million. And another difference between Liverpool and Tottenham? Liverpool get money for their players. We don't. We get scraps.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. But look, guys, you put something in, but do get your super chats in. Does do where we talk about. I'm very quickly on the pitch performances. It's there for you all to see. 2 trophies in 25 years, not good enough. A couple of second places, worse than 17th and stuff like that. So it really is inconsistent. Managers, 15 permanent managers. I think the longest manager he had in 25 years was Pochettino. Every manager lasted 1 year, 6 months. That was the tenure at Tottenham Hotspur. Absolutely ridiculous. And then if you look at the European domestic competitions as well, 18 out of 20 seasons we qualified for Europe, and of course winning the Europa League last season. Big up to Giant 68. Big up to you. Says big up Domo panel. Does this mean a takeover is on the cards, or is Joe Lewis family wanting to win more consistently to raise the value of our club? Now, we broke about, I actually checked it today, 9 months ago. And I think it was me and James and Tequila did that show about a takeover happening at Spurs. Now, we did break about a few weeks ago that talks had stalled. We do think that's something to do with Daniel Levy. We don't know, but we're just thinking it might do. So, look, what do you guys think? Do you think do you think ENIC is now going to take the ball by the horns and say, look, it was all Daniel Levy's fault. It wasn't ours. Or do you think they're sacking Levy for sale? Luke, I'll start with you, bud, because I know you're tight for time, and I did promise, so I know you're tight for time. So I get to you first.
No, that's all good. Listen, it could there's so many arguments that fit both of the narratives in terms of them selling and them actually putting money in and going for it. Again, I said earlier that it's like Levy's been Levy. That's what I think it happens. When Levy sacks managers, it seems like all the blame is on them. They didn't perform, they didn't do this. But actually they were never really given the tools. And I feel like that's the same with Levy. Like all of the discussion that we've had, or most of the discussion we're having, is around finances, is around this. But we don't know what the Lewis family gave him as a financial option. Like, he might have been doing the very best he can because he was restrained by so many things. And it seems that, like, if as I say, if I was in the Lewis family, and my thing is, well, we've got loads of money to spend, and you keep the deals keep falling through because of 5 million here, and then as a manager, as his manager, as the person who he reports into, I'd be going, what are you doing here? Why is it taking him 25 years? So for me, it must be that was the remit he was given. He was given a remit to build a club. And if I was the Lewis family, what he's done for them is astronomical. I think I looked through some finances, and I've been in a few groups where everyone's looked at the finances they've put in. They've put in around 250 million of their own money. When they come to sell, they're going to be earning at least 10 times that. To have that sort of investment in a 25-year period is, unless you're on stocks and you just hit the jackpot, it's impossible. So what he's done for them is absolutely incredible. And it feels like now, because of all the protest and everything else, ENIC have almost just, not panicked, I don't think that's the right word, but they've almost gone, right, let's feed him to the wolves, exactly like he's done to managers, and let's pretend that we weren't approving all of this. And it's like, so what's been going on for 25 years? He must have been reporting into someone must have been happy with what he was bringing in. So I just feel like I understand it, and it's not, I'm not saying anyone's wrong here, because we don't know the inner workings. It could have been that Levy's been so tight with the money because of the restraints he's put on. It also could be just because that's the way he is, and he just enjoys it. It always feels like in a transfer, it's a war. Someone has to conquer, and it always has to be him, which I think is the wrong way to go about it. But in 25 years of business, you're going to annoy people. You're going to pee people off. And if he was to have been similar to Chelsea's model, say, where they kind of go in and they just pay what people want, then you end up being lumbered with players that you've spent too much on. You're offering them too much wages. So that has its drawbacks as well. So it's a real tough one. There isn't really until we know more, all of the communication seems to have been that it looks like they're putting money in. But when I look at it, Frank is a very stable manager. So he's brought in for stability in my eyes. Spurs have just won a European trophy. The naming rights have never been done. Now, if the naming rights go to a Saudi team, which Saudi and Qatar seem to be where all the money is. So if a Saudi company come in and take the naming rights, Qatar are then not going to buy the club, because they're going to say, well, you're in a 15-year lease with Saudi, and we don't want to be in with Saudi. We want to be against them. So it feels to me like the club's gone back to a neutral, which means that then anybody can buy, because they're not favoured. They're not in bed with anybody here. They're not in bed with anyone there. It's literally a case of, we're very neutral. We've got a steady manager. We're not going to drop to 15th. We might not win the league under him, but we're going to be very steady. You've guaranteed you're going to get your money from this. So everything sort of makes sense, whether it's a sell or buy or whatever it is. But listen, the takeover talk has been rumbling on for far too long. ENIC are all about selling at the highest value. That's the whole point. That's their remit. That's what they do. So I think if someone came in and offered market price or just above, I think they'll sell. I think they generally would sell because that's what they do. So yeah, I think a takeover's looming.
Yeah, look, on the naming rights, Tottenham are hosting games in the European Championships in 2028. No club that has a naming rights can host a game in Euro 28. So I don't. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Do the naming rights come in and say, right, we're going to call it just the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and then change it afterwards, or do they think, do you know what, we're going to go in, we're going to buy the club, and we're going to call it White Hart Lane because that's what it is. James Tequila, where are you on this? Do you know, where do you see it? I mean, Louis Chill Music asks as well, would you take Saudi owners like Amoco or PFI? So, guys, I'll start with you, James Tequila. Where would your money land?
I'll let Tequila answer that one. First.
Cheers, mate.
You're welcome.
In a perfect ideal world, due to my own personal belief system, I'd rather not get in bed with either of them. But putting that aside, then to compete, we probably. I mean,
PIF could apply us, could they? PIF, because they're in with Newcastle, you're not allowed to. All they could own.
Oh, they can't own two clubs, no.
Yeah,
they could own a minority. They could own a minority stake, but nothing major.
Same with PSG. The PSG owners, the Qatari owners, they could only own 25%.
I mean, I think again, Liverpool have proven that you don't need that, but they are also probably maybe the second biggest club. You can argue that United's bigger than them, but they're up there, right? And we are not them, whether we like it or not, when it comes to their worldwide value, right? So maybe I still think that we don't need to go that route, but it is the easiest route. So it becomes a question: do you want to be all moral and stuff like that, or do you just want the easiest route to the top? You want to be light side or dark side? There's some Star Wars for you.
Yeah.
But it's not as simple. But some people won't care. Some people won't care about the moral implications of getting in bed with that kind of regime. It bothers me, but other people, they just want, as people have said in the chat, they just want trophies and nothing else matters. And if that's what you care about, then by all means, go this route. And that's the easiest route. And we've got a good chance if that were to happen, because we've got a lot of wiggle room because we haven't spent as much. We've got, what was the latest reports there, 400 million or so we could spend and we'd still be fine.
Yeah, we'd still be fine.
So imagine if that were to happen. It would be difficult for any of us, even myself, who's just said I'd rather not. If we would spend 400 million and bring in 6-7 world-class players for that, or maybe 6, let's say, 80 million each, argument's sake, would we really be like, morally?
I think morally will go out the window.
Yeah,
I honestly think morally
would be challenging for the league with that kind of investment.
Yeah.
Again, assuming that it went in the right places, which is what Luke was saying earlier, assuming it went in the right places, then morally, would any of us really, really, really care? Probably not.
No.
I think the value dictates the moral, because the value is so high that anyone that's got people are not. If you've got 4 billion, you're not going to buy a £4 billion club, because then you've got no money. Do you know, you're going to the people that have got 10s and 20s and 30 billions, if not more. And the people that have got that, they don't, like, with all due respect, there's not many of them that are going to not have moral issues, or they're not in bed with people that have got moral. Like, for me, it's almost like we can't have it both ways. It's almost like what we're saying is we want to have an owner that works exactly like Levy but spends loads of money, but there's no perfect owner like that, because even if you go Ted Bowley, for instance, you look at the amount of issues that they're going to have potentially with FFP. They're always constantly finding loopholes. Well, actually, if they catch up with the loopholes, Chelsea are going to be knackered. And then you've got players. I've always said with Chelsea, it's always 3 or 4 years down the line where the problems come, where they've got, like Mudryk, Mudryk. He's
Yeah.
on a 7-year contract. Can't play for 2 years because he's taking drugs. They need to pay him for the next 5 years on 120 grand a week, whatever it is. So their ones will catch up with them. And then the City one is 115 charges. It's almost like we think there's a perfect owner out there, but unfortunately, they're all going to come with problems. Like they're all going to come with morality issues, or are they going to?
Luke, doesn't Liverpool break that? Isn't that
Well, they're American.
I know we're not Liverpool. I get it. I know we don't have the pool, but that pool is mainly due to maybe attracting players as much. But it does show though that there is a middle ground that you can kind of squeeze your way in.
But they're under American ownership. And the American ownership as a model, if there's too many American owners, the Premier League will never look like what it looks like. Because if you go to America, every game you go to, they don't have season tickets. It's all 150 quid each per game. Like everything is pay-per-viewed. Like football you'll never be able to go and watch Sky Sports and things like that. Everything will be pay-per-viewed game after game. So if you have too many of them, and also last summer, Liverpool fans weren't saying our owners are great. They were going, why haven't they spent any money? So every club has this. We just think that because we live in our own bubble, we think we're the only ones that have problems. But Liverpool fans were going absolutely crazy last year because they didn't spend anything. Then they ended up winning the league.
I mean, look, James, you look at Manchester United, you look at the Glazers, Ineos. There was a report out today that Tottenham are going to do an out-of-court settlement with Ineos over their pulling out the contract. Yeah. You look at the Saudi coming in. You with me are working around. Well, you, me, and Tequila are in the same circles of the news that we get. We're hearing a lot of different things. A lot that we can't say because of NDA and confidential things that
confidentiality
that we cannot say. Look, there is something going to happen, but we can't say at the moment why. Which is really frustrating for us because as content creators and YouTube owners, and run a YouTube channel, we want to give you guys the latest news, Spurs news that we can get. But you've sometimes got to be patient. Look, are you with me that, look, morally, me and Philip Brady at the time of the World Cup were dead against the World Cup going to Qatar because of all the moral stuff behind it. I felt very much similar of that sort of team taking over our football club. But Tequila is right, isn't he? If we're at top of the league, if we're winning trophies, that moral stance sort of, we all become hypocrites, don't we? Because it all goes out the window. So where are you on it? If somebody came in, an American, would you prefer an American owner or a Saudi owner?
Well, we've got an American owner in the Enid group. They are American. Joe Lewis is American.
I thought he was English.
Well, he is, but his family is from that way into colonial. He was born in England. He made his money in England, and then they buggered off to like Vivian Lewis. Vivian Lewis was born in England, but the grandchildren that also have a lot to do with a football club, they would be technically classed as American. They were born in America. So in effect, we've got this hybrid sort of owners that we've got. What would I prefer? I don't care who our owners are, and this is me just being me. I really do not care who our owners are as long as they do right by the club. Look, if they want to come in and they want to completely rip up the mould and they just basically pick up where Daniel Levy left off and nothing changes within the football club, I would be unhappy because I don't think that's doing right by the football club. If they came in and they said, this is how we're going to do, but they were transparent enough to say, this is what we're going to do. We are not going to be throwing hundreds of millions into transfer windows, but whatever we generate, we will pump back into the club. And it gives us mediocre windows and with maybe one or two quality signings and a few squad players. being brought in and developing from the youth. But selling some of the youth players for maximum profit, because that's what Spurs have never done. Luke said it himself. We have never, ever sold players for any kind of profit, be it youth players or we've signed a player. The only two players that have, in recent memory, that we signed, we paid very low money or came through our youth academy and we turned good profit on, was A, Gareth Bale, and B, Harry Kane. Every other player that you think of, big name transfers that have come into our club, like the fabulous 7 that we signed from Gareth Bale's money, Eriksen, Modric. Modric didn't even go for that much money in comparison to what he later went on to achieve at Real Madrid. You look at the other players that we've signed, Richarlison now, if you put Richarlison on the open market and said, look, make an offer. We spent nearly 60 million on Richarlison. You said, go make us an offer. Most clubs are going to come in with 10 to 20 million. Tanguy and yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just throwing figures out there. Do you know what I mean, Tequila? But Tanguy and Ndombele, £62 million was supposed to be the revelation and changing of our midfield. Left for nothing. £62 million down Swanner. There's other players, when you look back in his history, Sergei Rebrov, Vincent Janssen, Dele Alli even. When you look at Dele Alli, we signed him so cheap at 5 to 8 million. And when he was at I hate to say peak because he's age-wise, he wasn't really at his peak. But when he was sort of peaking it as a player before he completely fell off a freaking planet, Real Madrid were quoting 80 to 90 million to buy it. And if we'd have sold him, everyone, and then he'd have flopped, everybody would have said, what a fantastic bit of business. We must have seen something that showed that he was never going to improve anymore and he was on the decline and whatever. But no one speaks in Spurs in that way. No one speaks of, we sign a young quality player, we bring him on, we train him up, and then we turn a profit on him. Harvey Elliott is from Liverpool springs to mind. David Beckham from Manchester United springs to mind. I mean, even Manchester United, how poor of a season as Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund have last season. It's not like they were tearing the league up, but Manchester United have somehow managed to turn profits on these players, or at least break even on them. We wouldn't have been able to sell them players. We would have held on to them because the value what Daniel Levy would have placed on those players to the value the realistic value of what other clubs were willing to pay were complete mismatched.
Yeah, they were.
And that is why we would never sell players for good profit, because Daniel Levy would always try to squeeze every last penny out of every deal. I just want to see someone come in who does right by the club. Yeah,
I think we all do. Look, we're a bit pushed for time, so I'm going to end on this because me and Tequila are on the Manchester United agenda at 10. So come and join us then. I know Luke's very pushed for time. And do you want to go first, Luke, if you need to shoot off? Do you want to go first with this question, and then you can plug your channel, and then us three can finish off if that makes it better for you?
If you don't mind, mate, that would be perfect.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
No, I don't apologise. Daniel Levy, Tottenham's greatest innovator, but was he also the last obstacle to success? How would you name Daniel Levy in one word?
To be honest with you, I think you're exactly right. I think it's like a footballer, right? If you've got, say for instance, we want to win the league. Say that's the end goal. We want to win the league. Well, you look at some of these players and go, well, they're not good enough, but they're good enough to maybe get you here, or here, or here. Like there gets a limit where you go, once it gets to there, unbelievable to get to that level. But actually, if you want to go to the next level, maybe I need a new player. And I think that's the same with Levy. If I was an owner anywhere, if I was a fan anywhere, and I was anywhere below the Premier League or I was low in the Premier League, and someone went, "We're bringing him in," I'd be like, "What? That's a masterstroke." But don't expect him to then take that extra step. That's all it is for me. So I think it's what he's done for this club will set it up for years and years and years. And whoever takes over it, or whether there's a change in the way the owners kind of operate, he has put all of the foundations in for us to be able to do that. I used Newcastle as an example earlier because, as I say, if a big company, if PIF came in now to take Spurs onto the next level, they could do it within 1 or 2 summers. Whereas at Newcastle, they still can't do it because they have to get the investment, they have to get the sponsorships and everything else. We're all prepped and ready to go now. So I think he's been absolutely incredible. I just never felt he was going to take that next step. And I felt that we need someone that will take that next step. So I think the way you've summarized it there is perfect.
Yeah. Where can people find you and tell people about your channel?
Yeah, so Spotlight on Spurs is spelt Lite because it wouldn't fit with Twitter. It was too long, so I had to shorten it and do the American version. But Spotlight on Spurs on YouTube, on X, on Instagram, everywhere. All the same spelling. We go live every Thursday night, talking all things Spurs. Yesterday's one was quite interesting, believe it or not. We was kind of scratching around at what we was going to chat about, and then Spurs dropped this, but. Spurs are one crazy club. I always say that. There's always things to talk about and prepare for the unexpected, because that's exactly what happens. So I appreciate coming on. Thank you very much for having me.
Dermo, you might.
Sorry. Thanks for coming on, Luke. Look, you go. I know you need to get sorted, and I know you got to put little ones to bed. So I know that's a big job. So good luck, man. And
Cheers,
I will
mate.
speak to you later. We'll get you on again very soon.
Big up, chat. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and everything else. Cheers to the panel. I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah.
See you later.
Mate.
Thanks a lot, Luke. Cheers, mate.
See you later. See you later, bud. Yeah, guys, to you three as well, you two as well. Look, Daniel Levy, was he Tottenham's greatest innovator, but also the last obstacle? I would say he was the obstacle than more of an innovator, because anything that we got, Champions League final, we should have pushed on and back Poch. Conte, we always seem to do the good things, but we never backed it up with buying the manager, the right players. You look at Ange, 22 defeats in the league, but won us a European trophy. I just feel he was an obstacle in so many ways at Tottenham. But there's one burning question in my head, guys, I want to finish off on. The protests. Did they work? Now, there's a lot of people I'm hearing saying, yes, the protests worked. They last night I was watching the show, said the protests did work. They're the ones that made Enoch sack Levy. Guys, look, we've been... I mean, Tequila, I mean, I let you have the last word, James, because you're the main man. Tequila,
well,
you were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? And you said something, then Change for Tottenham put out a statement which made me giggle within 2 minutes of me and Tequila talking about it.
They were just waiting for me, weren't they?
Yeah.
Can I answer the question that you didn't actually ask me regarding the innovator stuff?
Oh yeah, sorry, that as well. We end up with that, but just 2 questions to end up on. Sorry, I'm useless. I'm a hopeless. Oh, sorry.
I don't think he was either greatest innovator or the last obstacle. I think he was a coward.
Fair. That is fair. Do you know what?
Personally,
That's fair.
If the club's motto is dare to do, that doesn't describe Daniel Levy to me.
To dare is not to do.
That's what I meant.
I think we could all agree on that, can't we? I think we're all thinking the same thing. Actually, I think that's good. I
mean, people might say I'm being harsh, but I do. I think. And to add to that, what was I think it was Luke saying it, or it might have been James, one of the chaps, was talking about it's not the amount of money that we've been spending every window, because we've been spending 150 million.
Yeah.
It's timing it. It's spending at the right time. So as I think it was Luke who was saying it, had we pushed on after the Champions League final, had we not sacked Jose Mourinho 5 days before a final, all these silly things, right? all these silly things. And this is what I mean, is that the man, I think he was cowardly. I do. I don't mean I think he's stupid, but I do think he was cowardly. People, I can phrase it nicer, risk averse, evasive, whatever it's called, right? He was all those things, but I think there was an element of cowardice to him as well. He wasn't brave. He wasn't brave enough.
No.
And if you want your leader, if you really want to be a leader of men, we talk about a leader of men, right? We talk about classic captains. In my eyes, the best captain is Roy Keane. Not for, I know he didn't play for Spurs, but he is. When I think of captain, I think of leader. My most recent memory is Roy Keane. That is what I consider bravery. That's not Daniel Levy. He's not brave.
I remember Roy Keane playing for Ireland and seeing him come leading our team out and leading by example. And you look at he's in the tunnel before they played Arsenal. And I think Patrick Vieira had a go at Gary. And he actually turned on Patrick Vieira. Right, come on, let's have it out now. That is a captain. Look, Steve Perriman, Graham Roberts in the same ilk over the years. I agree with you. James, look, do you agree with Tequila? I think we all do. A bit.
Maybe people don't like me using that word, but you're asking me for a word.
Right. I think you're right. Erwin, to dare is to make a profit. Do you think that sums it up? That sums Levy 25 years at Tottenham.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have called on that comment. I think it's very true. To dare is to make a profit. Archer also says there was actually an article I saw where Levy was accused of institutional cowardice. Very interesting. What I read today regarding certain things was that Levy was feared when it came to transfer dealings, and then after quite a few years, he wasn't feared anymore. It was just draining to deal with him. And so what do I think? Do I think he was an innovator at Spurs? I think in some respects he was an innovator. He saw the future, saw how to set up for the future, so you could say that. Is he an obstacle to a success? He kind of proves his record kind of speaks for itself on that. So many managers, so many missed opportunities. Very much like Tequila said, if he really, really wanted success for Tottenham, when we reached that Champions League final, when we had all the money in the world we could have possibly thrown into the following window and really, really pushed on as a football club, we would have done it. But we didn't. We didn't spend a penny. We sat there on our laurels thinking that, okay, we've made it. We don't need to do anything. And
James, can I ask you one thing? It's like in the wording of Dermo, could you put that back up for a sec so I can explain what I mean?
Sorry,
mate. Sorry. It's just because I think it's interesting because it's like the words Dermo's used is the greatest innovator. I'm not saying he wasn't an innovator, but Dermo's used the greatest innovator, and that covers a lot of people. I don't think
not the greatest.
He doesn't deserve to be in that conversation, does he?
No, absolutely not. He was an innovator for Tottenham, but he wasn't the greatest innovator for Tottenham.
And also, absolutely on this very quickly, I got the start of the headline, and then I added the last bit. So the first bit is not me; the last bit is me. So can I just quote that here just very quickly?
And it doesn't make any difference, Dermo. He's not the greatest innovator.
And also, I don't think. Whilst Levy is an obstacle, I don't consider him the last obstacle either. That's the other thing I want to point out in that. I don't think he's the last. He was a big obstacle, but I don't think he's the last obstacle.
So you don't think he wasn't the obstacle to any takeover happening at Tottenham then?
I think he was an obstacle. He was an obstacle.
Yeah.
He was an obstacle, not the last obstacle. There is so many obstacles that could come in the way. I just want to point out that so I don't think he was the last obstacle. I don't even think he's the last obstacle at the club right now. I think there are plenty of obstacles that our club are very much, I love it, but we need to overcome as a football club. And I hate using the wording of it because it's not really. For 25 years of the Daniel Levy sort of era, we'll call it, our DNA has been one way, and that's Daniel Levy's way. What we need to do now is change our own DNA, change the way our club is run, even if that means Enoch stays in charge. Who was it? Not Vinay, Carrington. Yeah. Carrington takes the CEO position for Daniel Levy's vacated. And he becomes the driving force behind a new look Tottenham that stays under Enoch control. Look, it might happen, it might not. I'm not saying I'm any more in the know than anybody else. I know certain things are happening. I know certain things are rumbling along in the background, and things may change within the club that I can't physically say right now. But do I think Daniel Levy leaving is going to change the outlook of the club straight away? No, I think it's a ripple effect. It's like dropping a stone in a pond. Eventually, those circles are going to expand to a point where it creates waves. So I just think it's going to take time. We all need to have some patience. We all need to just take it for what it is. We've got rid of what has been potentially a big problem within the football club. Mm-hmm. One thing I do also want to say is, do I think that the change for Tottenham, they forced Levy out? Of course they're going to say they did.
That's ridiculous.
Because he's going to say, like, we did it, we did it.
But they didn't, though, to be fair to them.
No. This would have happened regardless of whether or not there'd have been protests. Mm. This is boardroom level maneuvering, posturing, boardroom politics, and Daniel Levy has he signed his own death warrant. And I don't mean that as in he's going to die. I mean, he signed his own Spurs death warrant. He signed his own warrant for execution. He didn't do enough. And I think this window, which is why I stated at the beginning of the window, this window was so important, and that something would happen big at the end of the window. Yeah. And I do believe that this window was Daniel Levy's chance to prove that he could change the mould, and he didn't. And it only came down to the last 2 weeks of that transfer window where other people stepped in and said, this is what we need to do. If we are going to stand any chance of any kind of success, this is what we're going to need to do now. And then all of a sudden, deals for players started to happen.
Yeah. We talked about it today, didn't we, James? A long time on the phone. We had a good chat about it today. I agree. I'm going to hate that comment's going to haunt me now. The greatest, and that's going to haunt me for a long while. It really will. It's not even me. I copied and pasted the first bit. I didn't do last bit's me, but the first bit's going to haunt me for a lifetime.
No, mate. We weren't taking shade. I was just pulling up the actual question. The wording makes it different than it's like. It's like the greatest of all time. That covers a lot of ground. Just like, wow.
That's like comparing him to Muhammad Ali. I mean, Muhammad Ali was the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time. But there's been people that if you put, say, I don't know, if you put Muhammad Ali up against a prime Ali against a prime Usyk or a prime what's his face, the Gypsy King.
Tyson Fury.
Who's gonna come out on that? Who would you say would thingy? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those.
Yeah. Ali.
I do you know what? I think us three need to do a conspiracy show, because I think that would be brilliant. We'd be brilliant at that. All the conspiracy theories in the world. That would be absolutely spot on. Big up to Nita as well as we wound up. Good evening, panel and chat. I am savouring this moment. I've always been a dreamer. When it comes to Spurs, can you Adam and Eve it? Yes, we can. Tottenham till we die. Big up to you, Nita, as well. And she buggers up, says, yes, hip replacement are more painful than Levy. That Alex Ferguson's talking about Daniel Levy. You can only talk what you know. DL is a businessman without a footballing brain. It was time for him to be removed. Guys, look, we're going to end it there. Can I just say, Change for Tottenham did put out the statement saying they weren't taking accountability for this. So I will put that out there. But they did try to take accountability for what's her name leaving?
Donna Cullen.
Donna Cullen, who was going to leave anyway.
Yeah,
But,
she was always out the door.
Yeah. But as 3 Spurs fans, I think we're quite happy, aren't we, with what's happened over the last 24 hours? Something
I'm not sad.
No. Did we ever think it would happen? No. Are we shocked it happened? Yes. I think Tequila has been partying all night. He hasn't stopped. He's still on the cherry coke, and spraying it all around his flat, like I like to do when a Grand Prix driver wins the Grand Prix.
Champagne,
but
yeah.
talking about that, where else can people find you, Mr. Jordan, apart from on here, being the Simon Jordan of this channel?
Just on, I got a gaming channel called The Play Pouch. We just started a Gears of War Reloaded stream yesterday. So there'll be a couple more of them next week. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing after that, but that's over the next 7 days. If you like Gears of War, come watch us.
Yeah.
Cheers, Bob.
I do have a little gaming channel as well, Double Dumb Gaming. I will be starting to do stuff for that in the next couple of weeks when FC 26 comes out, or I'm doing a lot of F1 26 as well. James, you got your thumbs up there. What you got to say, sir?
So obviously, don't have a gaming channel yet, but I'm going to get one. I am going to create my own one. I am going to create a Football Manager when FM 26 comes out. I'm going to create FM gaming channel. Do get FM streams, showing you how I play Football Manager my way. Because it's not conventional. It's not always how people say you should play the game, but it's how I like to play the game. But I will be doing that. But at the moment, if you want to find me, obviously I'm here on THFC Till We Die. Or if you want to follow me on X, you can do. I'm at THFC James. Also, I do like to float around in the ether. So if you ever get any out-of-body experiences, you never know, you might bump into me there.
Right, we definitely need to do a conspiracy show then. I'm sorry. That's got to happen. We have to do a conspiracy show now. I am sorry. Guys, they will be it will be streamed onto James's X channel in the next couple of weeks. We're going to sort that out, that all the Spurs content gets done there as well. Let's help him get to 1,000 followers. We're nearly at 2K as well. You can find me. I will bring it up now, wherever I put it. So give me 2 seconds. Where did I leave it? I don't know where I left it. Never mind. You can find us on TikTok, and you can also find us on X if you can. Giant says, did you say no, I said Double Dumb Gaming. It's me and Column's channel, but Column's now gone over. He now goes on to the Play Pouch. So I've sort of taken that little channel over, and well, I don't do a lot on it, but I will be doing some on it. But I'm definitely going to watch this James FM.
Yeah, James, you should join Dermo's channel. He's already got one set up.
I could just take over it, couldn't I?
You can do if you want. You can do if you want.
I've got to get a laptop and everything first, Dermo. Jesus Christ, I've got so much I've got to do before like the end of the year. It's going to be crazy.
Can I ask you something, James? You're Iceman are you Iceman when you come into the chat, or you
Iceman?
Iceman. Why do I Iceman? Big up to you, Iceman. Well, if you become a member, you can. Only members can come on the shows. Become a member, 99 pence. Not a lot of money. Get on the show. Guys, thank you for watching. Do join me tomorrow night on 5th Tier Podcast, where I will be doing the watch along to Ireland versus Hungary as we start our World Cup campaign. See, can we qualify for the 2026 World Cup? In about half an hour, me and Tequila, I'll be on the Manchester United agenda. James is going to, I don't want James. James will be watching and spamming from the chat.
You're playing Football Manager and punishing Eze still for his transgression.
Yes, absolutely. Eze is so punished right now. It's unbelievable. Arsenal in general are being punished. I mean, I'm not saying I'm taking this save very seriously, but needless to say, Arsenal are in pretty much financial destitution on what they are having to pay for Eze's weekly wages for such a one-rated player. So he's like He's won across the board. He's never getting any better. His potential ability is 10. His current ability is at 10. And Arsenal pay him £2.5 million per week.
Nice.
You're a genius.
And they I think last time I looked at the save, I think they were somewhere in the region of around about £700 million in debt, languishing in 17th in the Premier League, 1 point above safety with about 10 games left to play. So yeah, Arsenal are really enjoying that signing of Eberechi Eze. I'm really glad that they did it.
Lovely.
Yeah. Just talk for 2 minutes there, guys. I need to put the link into where you and me are later. Tequila, sorry.
It's called the Man United agenda, Erwin.
Yeah.
Just Google Man United agenda.
I found it. Yeah, I will now. I'll just put the link in there now. So share, copy link. I'll do that. But yeah, do get your memberships, guys. It does help us grow. And it does keep us going, do what we're doing. Carl says, what I want to know is, James on FM, do you add a new manager when your team needs cash?
If I'm not playing a save seriously, Carl, and in all honesty, and my team, if I'm not doing a serious save, I'm just having a bit of fun save like I'm doing this season. What I do is I activate the editor and just chuck a load of cash at my team. I don't need to add a new manager. I just literally go to my editor, turn it on and say, okay, Spurs have just injected 10 billion into the club and we've got a £1 billion transfer kitty with a massive wage budget. And that's if I'm not taking it seriously. But most of my saves on FM, I do take seriously. I usually have the editor there in case I want to make changes to things. Like I do a lot of like draft saves and things like that, where I'll create a wheel, I'll spin it, and it'll create me different scenarios. And it's unable to do certain scenarios unless you have the editor available to you. So I always buy the editor as an add-on, but I don't always. If I'm doing like my official save, I don't activate the editor. You can activate it or deactivate. If you have the editor activated, you don't get any achievements for it on that save. So I usually have a save which is purely I play every game, I go through every game, I do every transfer window. I'm thinking at the moment I'm just doing a director of football save, which is immensely hard for someone who loves transfers, I must say, which is where you are not allowed to sign any players or sell any players. It's all done by your director of football. And that is hard. That is hard. It's because for your director of football will sometimes he's not just buying for the first team, he buys for all your team, all your squads. So it's pretty intense where my director of football is just signing me absolute garbage. I started off with Sampdoria for Serie B, trying to get them out for Serie B. I got them out of Serie B in 2 seasons, and then I've just been scrapping to avoid relegation, and I'm now 6 seasons deep into that. And again, it's just how I play. I'm able to simulate a lot of things, go to transfer windows, adjust tactics and things like that, and not watch every game. So it just sort of speeds the process up a little bit, which is why I'm hoping this on FM 26 I'll be able to start bringing it to you guys out there as well.
Yeah, well, look, Dan, I just joined my gaming channel and we'll get it out there. So look at that, plenty of new content coming up on all sides, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, James, as well. It's always a pleasure, man, having you on. Big up to you as well, Mr. Tequila down the bottom there, Simon Jordan of the channel, the man who used to own a football club. Or didn't you know?
I might have mentioned it, yeah.
You might have mentioned it. But Tequila, you always take us out. I did it yesterday, but can you improve on what you did yesterday? Can you improve on how you took us out yesterday?
What with a little Levy rant? I'm not sure what else
Yeah,
to say
go
about what's left to say about Daniel Levy.
But try something new. The last time you're going to talk about Levy, so you might as well make it.
Oh, it won't be. No, it won't be the last time we talk about Levy. You know that.
Goodbye.
What can I say about Daniel Levy? He's like
Just who we are, mate.
it is just who he is, mate. But he's a nemesis that I will miss to a certain degree. I said this yesterday, guys. It's like, where do we go from here? If next time something goes wrong, where do we go? Where do we go? Who
Bring
do we
back Alan
blame?
Sugar.
Who do we blame when it goes wrong next? I don't know. So I'm going to miss my nemesis, Mr. Levy. I won't miss his way he does transfer windows. But I do want to say one thing about Mr. Levy. I don't wish death on him. And I will say that he has maybe set us up for great things in the future. And that's the biggest compliment I can give the man. And I won't give him any more compliments than that. But we can all be casually and very cautiously optimistic for the future. So my only wish, Dermo, is that we can maybe all try to get along a bit better now that this big divide, and it's such a massive divide we've had, isn't there anymore. So we can we all maybe get on a similar wavelength for maybe the first time in how long would it be since we can all be on a similar wavelength?
Yeah.
Maybe some of this infighting will stop a bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. All this infighting needs to stop. There's nothing. Erwin's calling you T Cundy. So
yeah, he was on one the other day. It was Cundy. Not that bad. Thanks, Erwin.
Can I just say to Carl's comment about Levy taking over the head of the Irish FA? Please, all that is holy. Whoever's running at the moment doesn't know how to run a piss up in a brewery. Please come over and stabilise the governing body of Irish soccer. Irish soccer's doing great, but our governing body's doing absolutely crap. But Tequila, take us out, sir.
It's just who we are, mate.
Good night.